The Steam Summer Sale is here, and this might very well be the best Steam sale we have ever seen. Seriously, this one is massive. Like, I started making the list at 20 games, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger the more I researched the sale. So, I have gathered a list of the top 20, nope, top 25, nope, top 32 of the absolute best games from the Steam Sale 2023. Let's go over some ground rules.
Really? Like what?
How is the list organized? Each game in the list must feature all of the following 5 merits. Number 1, at least a 20% discount or greater. Number 2, a very positive overall review and a very positive recent review from the Steam community, which, if you don't know, the only rank above very positive is overwhelmingly positive, and not too many games have that. Number 3, feature at least partial controller support. Number 4, be released in the last 5 years. We thought this would really dwindle down the list and you wouldn't be hearing us talk about games for $2 that have been on every Steam sale for the last 10 years, but we still have 32 games to go over. Number 5, cannot have a pixel art style, so in modern graphics only. This one was a little tough because there are some excellent pixel art to retro style games, and we probably will have to make another list just highlighting those games, so be on the lookout for that. One more thing. To be honest, the entire top 10 games in the list could easily be number 1. Seriously, you'll see. While we tried to make the best picks for the lowest numbers, any of the games in the top 10 are absolute bangers. Oh, and if you stick around to the end of the video, we still have some honorable mentions that didn't quite make the criteria for the list, but we felt they definitely needed to still be spotlighted. Are you excited yet? Let's get this started. Number 32. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2 is a modern warfare shooter set in the Middle East. You play as Raven, contract sniper assassin, as you take out a series of targets across a dramatic single-player campaign. With extreme range shots exceeding 1,000 meters, gear up for the most challenging entry to the series yet. If you have never played one of the Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts games, you are in for a treat, because these games don't follow the standard action-adventure template. The contracts version of these games mean you will be on specific missions that have multiple ways of accomplishing them, rather than your typical linear story-based game where each level leads into the next. Think of the new Hitman games for context. The game is heavy on the stealth action while maintaining a high level of difficulty on the harder modes with extreme realistic bullet drop and game physics. One thing I noticed when playing these games is that I don't think I had really ever played a sniping game before. I'd played sniping missions in video games, and that's always fun. But one thing that really separates these kinds of games is that just the level of customization is mind-boggling. What that means is you control the bullet drop. You control if the wind affects bullet drop. You control if the Coriolis effect is taken into effect in the game. At first, it can be a little challenging to understand where to shoot, like more than you might expect. Every time you fire your gun, you feel the weight, and if you miss a shot, you know that you missed the shot. It wasn't the game cheating you out of a win, you missed the shot. But, alternatively, when you hit that shot, oh man, does that feel good. So, we definitely recommend you check out this game. Number 31, Guardians of the Galaxy. Fire up a wild ride across the cosmos with a fresh take on Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. In this action-adventure game, you are Star-Lord, leading the unpredictable Guardians from one explosion of chaos to the next. You got this. Probably. I'm not a big Marvel video games fanboy by any means, but this game is outstanding. You can check out the reviews for this game if you don't know just how good this game is, but spoiler alert, when this game is firing on all cylinders, it is fantastic, with loads of character references, action-packed sequences, but most impressive is the voice acting team in the game. They really do feel like they have real banter with each other, and it's probably because when they recorded their lines for the game, they were all in the same room and like having fun with each other, and you can really tell because the audio engineering team just shines throughout this whole experience. Anyone you talk to who's played this game will say this game is hilarious, and for some reason, that's what really makes this game special. Number 30, Devil May Cry 5. The ultimate Devil Hunter is back in style, and the game action fans have been waiting for. A brand new entry in the legendary action series, Devil May Cry 5, brings together its signature blend of high-octane action and otherworldly original characters, with the latest Capcom gaming technology to deliver a graphically groundbreaking action-adventure masterpiece. Was that a little too over the top? Okay, alright, let me try this again. The Devil May Cry series has always been one of the best games in the hack-and-slash action-adventure genre, and Devil May Cry 5 has been critically acclaimed by many to be one of the best games of 2019. In fact, many people in the games industry had this title as a runner-up to the Game of the Year. The Game of the Year in 2019, by the way, was Sekiro. So, pretty tough to beat if you ask me. If that doesn't tell you why you should get this game, then get a different game. There's plenty on this list. But just kidding, seriously. Devil May Cry is at an excellent sale right now. I think it's at 67% of a discount. At the time of filming this, there's almost like 62,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews, so don't take my word for it. Well, I don't know if you saw that last title, but it said Special Edition, which means you get the Virgil DLC as well. Number 29, Resident Evil 2 Remake. A deadly virus engulfs the residents of Raccoon City in September of 1998, plunging the city into chaos as flesh-eating zombies roam the streets for survivors. An unparalleled adrenaline rush, gripping storyline, and unimaginable horrors await you. Witness the return of Resident Evil 2. You'll play as rookie officer Leon Kennedy and college student Claire Redfield in their own separate campaigns and see the story from both perspectives, and it is one hell of a retelling of the classic tale. The game is an excellent third-person survival horror title and arguably one of the best in the genre. Every aspect of this game is a nod to the original, and this is what most people will point to when they say, this is how you should remake a game.
The situation's worse than I thought. This may be a one-way ride, so be prepared, Leon.
Number 28, Dead Space. The sci-fi survival horror classic returns, completely rebuilt to offer an even more immersive experience, including visual, audio, and gameplay improvements while staying faithful to the original game's thrilling vision. Isaac Clarke is an everyman engineer on a mission to repair a vast mining ship, the USG Ishimura, only to discover something has gone horribly wrong. The ship's crew has been slaughtered and Isaac's beloved partner, Nicole, is lost somewhere on board. Now alone and armed only with his engineering tools and skills, Isaac races to find Nicole as the nightmarish mystery of what happened aboard the Ishimura unravels around him. Trapped with hostile creatures called necromorphs, Isaac faces a battle for survival not only against the escalating tears of the ship, but against his own crumbling sanity. The remake of Dead Space was released this year, and right now on the Steam sale, it is 30% off, which is a heck of a deal for a game that's just released in the last 6 months. Number 27, Sniper Elite 5. The award-winning series returns as Carl Fairburn fights to uncover Project Kraken in 1944 France. The genre-defining, authentic sniping with enhanced kill cam has never looked or felt better as you fight across immersive maps to stop the Nazi war machine in its tracks. The Sniper Elite series is an excellent long-time series, and most will argue the 5th game is the pinnacle of the fine-tuning the devs have done over the years. Something to note is that pretty much all of the Sniper games are on sale, and you can't really go wrong with any of them, but we wanted to pick what we feel is the best of each series, and they also happen to be the newest games in the series. Now, some viewers may be wondering what separates the Sniper Elite series from the Sniper Ghost Warrior series if they are both sniper games. Well, to put it simply, this is basically an Apple versus Android discussion in that they are both phones but cater to different audiences. Sniper Ghost Warrior is a stealth first-person shooter set in a modern setting where realism and espionage is at the forefront of game design, whereas Sniper Elite is a third-person stealth action-adventure title that, while fairly realistic in historical accuracy, is much more arcade-esque in nature. Basically, you're going to see a lot more explosions in Sniper Elite than you will in Ghost Warrior. It's actually kind of in the title now that I think about it. But yeah, in Sniper Elite, you're gonna feel like the last action hero, whereas in Ghost Warrior Contracts, you're definitely gonna feel like the lone wolf, and if you get spotted, you are dead. Oh, you thought I went away? No. Click subscribe. That's what that's there for. Number 26. Yakuza, Like a Dragon. Become Ichiban Kasuga, a low-ranking Yakuza grunt left on the brink of death by the man he trusted most. Take up your legendary bat and get ready to crack some underworld skulls and dynamic RPG combat set against the backdrop of modern-day Japan. It's easy to see how fun and silly this game is from the trailer. At first you think, oh cool, an arcade-style turn-based RPG brawler that has a lot of Japanese humor. And yes, the game can be pretty out there. But what is not as obvious is its incredible story. Seriously, the writing in the main campaign is top-notch and is a highly unique concept of dealing with politics and matters of gray zones, and the way the story unfolds is a dark and cinematic masterpiece about the patriarch of a Yakuza family. It's honestly pretty shocking, the way the wackiness and the seriousness in the game just blends together perfectly. It just works. One of the things that struck us is that this game has a phenomenal story. In fact, it's very possible this game has the best story on the entire list. Don't let the raging pigeons and sky lobsters fool you. I always knew the team over at Rio Gagoku existed, but I had no idea just how in-depth their stories go and how convoluted they can get, but in a good way. This is masterpiece storytelling. There's just no other way around it. If you haven't already, check out Yakuza Like a Dragon. Number 25, Mortal Kombat 11. Mortal Kombat is back and better than ever in the next evolution of the iconic franchise. You guys know what Mortal Kombat is, so if you're trying to get a refresher on the series before MK1 comes out, well, this is probably the best opportunity you will have before the new game comes out. Also, there are a few versions of the game that are on sale. The base game is $5. The Ultimate version, which includes all the DLC, is $8.99. And there's also a double game pack where you can get MK11 Ultimate and Injustice 2 Legendary Edition for just $1 more, which includes Injustice and all 3 of its DLC packs. A flawless victory of the deal if you're a fighting game fan. Number 24, Midnight Fight Express. A former member of the criminal underworld is lured back into the life by a mysterious drone claiming they have until sunrise to prevent a citywide criminal takeover together. While most channels are taking time to highlight the sale on Sifu, which yes, is a great game, we wanted to highlight a different beat-em-up game. This game is a little bit more dynamic in the sense that you can do more with the character, like grab guns, use finishing moves, and it's a little more Hotline Miami meets Batman Arkham games than Sifu's more traditional kung fu action approach. Don't get us wrong, Sifu is great, but chances are you've probably already played it or you own it. This game is just good old-fashioned fun and has a bit more progression elements sprinkled in, and did I mention it was made by just one guy? I mean, we looked into it, and he did have a little help from a couple people, but this game, for the most part, was really made by one guy, and it's a pretty inspiring story, so go research Jacob Dwinel? I don't know how to say that, but go research Jacob D if you get a chance, since he was nice enough to take 30% off his game. Number 23, Bramble the Mountain King.
Do not give in to the
Bramble the
darkness.
Mountain King is a grim adventure set in
not
a
give
world
in to the
inspired by
darkness.
dark Nordic fables. Explore the beautiful
not
yet
give
dangerous
in
and
to the
twisted
darkness.
land of Bramble in your endeavor to rescue your
find
sister.
your search
Traverse a
for
wonderful
within the
landscape
mountain.
and survive deadly encounters with Bramble's many hideous creatures. Bramble the Mountain King takes you on a gripping and unsettling journey through stunning environments. Take on the role of Ole, a young boy setting off to rescue his sister, kidnapped by a dreaded troll. Not everything in Bramble is exactly how it seems. In this strange land, with creatures big and small, you must be careful when to approach and when to hide. Many hungry and spiteful beasts lurk in these forests and caves. Watch your step. Okay, this is how you make a game that draws from Scandinavian folktales. In this game, a strong point for some people might actually be if they are not able to invest in horror titles because the games are too scary for them. This may be a bit more palatable. Oftentimes, the survival horror genre can go a bit overboard with freaking the player out, but this is an excellent example of making a game accessible without softening the edge too much. This game is currently 30% off its initial price of $29.99 and is a great deal for a game that just came out about 2 months ago. Check out Bramble the Mountain King. Number 22, World War Z Aftermath. World War Z Aftermath is a heart-pounding co-op third-person shooter for up to 4 players featuring massive swarms of hundreds of zombies focused on fast-paced, gruesomely spectacular action. I personally have played this game to death, and this really is one of those hidden online co-op gems that you may have missed if you weren't paying attention. The only problem with this game is that it needs another expansion, and then it would just be a solid must-buy for pretty much everyone. The level of polish on this one is pretty incredible, and the way the Horde mode was designed is just excellent. You gotta check this one out if this is your kind of vibe. This game is currently 40% off on Steam, and you don't need the DLC for this one, you really don't. If you like the game, and you get really addicted like I did, then you can buy the DLC. Number 21, Persona 5 Royal. Don the mask and join the Phantom Thieves of Hearts as they stage grand heists, infiltrate minds of the corrupt, and make them change their ways. Oof, confession time. I have actually never played a Persona game. I know, I need to. I will, I have a few games in my backlog. But you know what? It's Persona. You know what it is. If you don't, go look it up. If you do, and you don't have it on your library, well, you know you're gonna. So, it's got the #1 spot on Metacritic PC Games, score of 95. JRPG fans know this one is a masterpiece. Oh, and just a shockingly crazy amount of overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. Number 20, Starship Troopers Extermination. Starship Troopers Extermination is a 16-player co-op first-person shooter that puts you in the far-off front lines of an all-out battle against the bugs. Squad up, grab your rifle, and do your part as an elite deep space Vanguard trooper set to take back planets claimed by the arachnid threat. Would you like to know more? Who developed it? Off-World Industries, the team behind the popular hit Squad. And fun little fact, they also developed the VR title Covert Syndrome. Okay, well, how much is it? It's $20, down from $24.99 at a 20% discount at time of filming. Okay, that seems like a lot, so when did it come out? very recently, May 17th. In fact, a lot of gamers don't even know this game exists since it launched fairly quietly in early access. What did the Steam community rate it? Very positive in both all-time and in recent reviews, although we suspect it might become an overwhelmingly positive as the game continues development.
You apes want to live forever?
Then join the Federation today. God, I've always wanted to say that. Coming in at number 19, we have Remnant from the Ashes. The world has been thrown into chaos by an ancient evil from another dimension. As one of the last remnants of humanity, you must set out alone or alongside two other survivors to face down hordes of enemies to try to carve out a foothold, rebuild, and retake what was lost. Man, this game is so criminally underrated. This game is what happens when a talented developer does not follow the rules of a cookie-cutter game design mindset and takes chances when creating a project. Remnant is probably one of the best and maybe toughest games in this genre, and developer Gunfire Games hits it out of the park with creative and challenging boss battles that take real thought and cooperation to beat. I mean, just look at this game. It doesn't even look like other games. It has its own very unique world building, and the run and gun mechanics of this game are superb, and each character you choose can really play to your strengths and weaknesses as you strategically level up. The game is not easy, but it's accessible, and the level of progression feels just right. Also, Remnant 2 was just announced, so now is the perfect time to jump into this wildly alien and strangely demonic universe. Oh, and this is one of those titles that just feels a little different on PC than its console counterpart, as everything is just a bit more fluid and polished. Gun mechanics are just underrated in games, and when you pick up a gun in this game, you feel like you've picked up something new. And the magic is in figuring out which guns are good and which guns are not, or more accurately, which ones are going to play to your style and path you've chosen. Not to mention, this game is on 65% discount right now. This is just a super steal of a deal. Number 18, Nioh 2. Battle hordes of yokai in this massive action RPG. Create your protagonist and embark on an adventure through a myriad of locales across Japan during the Sengoku period. Utilize the new yokai shift ability to defeat even the most ferocious yokai and be prepared to brave through dark realms created by your enemies. Much like the previous title, which garnered much praise from fans and critics alike, Nioh 2 contains an original, profound story surrounding military commanders from the Sengoku period. However, Nioh 2 goes above and beyond its predecessor by including the new yokai shift ability, which allows the protagonist to utilize new powerful forms to defeat even the most formidable yokai in battle. New to Nioh 2, your enemies can now create a dark realm, which raises the stakes of battle and creates new challenges for the protagonist to overcome. Conquer fearsome monsters as you unleash your darkness in the world of Nioh 2. Number 17, Mechwarrior 5 Mercenaries. As we all patiently wait for Armored Core Fires of Rubicon, I wanted to reflect on the original massive metal bipedal death vehicles, battle mechs. Some of my earliest memories in video games were spent playing Mechwarrior 2 31st Century Combat, Mechwarrior 2 Mercenaries, Mechwarrior 2 Ghost Bear Legacy, Mechwarrior 3, Mechwarrior 4, Mechwarrior Pirates Moon, and I was hooked on the franchise, as well as offshoots like Mech Commander and other franchises like Heavy Gear, and I thought the series would just keep going. Well, this game is number 17 on this list because there was a 17-year hiatus between the last Mechwarrior game and Mechwarrior 5 Mercenaries. It has also been confirmed that next year we will see Mechwarrior 6, so I wanted to give you a quick review of why this epic game was so mainstream back in the early days of PC gaming. The Mercenaries subtitle indicates that instead of playing as some soldier pilot who just does what they are told, you get to call the shots as a mercenary in 30th century combat. That means you get to choose who you want to ally with, and you get to determine who you ride into battle with if you can afford to pay other mercenary pilots. This opens up the game to the ability to bring in your friends in a 4-player PvE campaign co-op experience. Just don't assume you're always going to be the good guys, since in the original Mercenaries game, you definitely were probably not the good guys. Not that there even were any good guys in the game. Okay. I could explain the story and setting, but honestly, like most games in this list, it would take a while, so let's just keep this simple. Big bad robots are fun to kill other robots with. With a full editor and interface supporting gameplay mods out of the box, your creativity will know no limits. Become your own weapon of war. Welcome to the year 3015. It's a hell of a time to be alive. With the base game at 50% off, it's time to step inside Mechwarrior 5. Number 16, Showgunners. Have you ever wondered what it would be like if XCOM and Gears Tactics became a reality TV show? Yeah, me either. But that's exactly what you get with Showgunners. As a contestant on a high-stakes reality game show of the future, you must survive a dangerous urban environment packed with traps, confusing puzzles, and heavily armed psychopaths. This game describes itself as turn-based combat and handcrafted levels built for entertainment, and that's pretty accurate. It's not the most in-depth game, nor the best story, but it is a solid turn-based combat game that is going to help hold you over until the next game in the genre comes out. And it's a brand new game that is 20% off. So if you know you like games like this, it's a solid buy. And if you are new to the isometric XCOM turn-based strategy shooter genre, then this game is a great intro for you without overloading you too much. I also really like the fact that this game is trying to take some chances, and it's very creative. So I really have to, tip my hat to the developer here, because they're really trying to give characters that you play in this game different abilities than we have seen in previous games like this. And I don't actually say this normally, but I'm oddly looking forward to DLC content or the next season pass for this, because it really is set up for that. Yeah, this one hooked me, so I wanted to share it with you guys. Check out Showgunners.
Well, one thing's for sure, nothing's for sure on Showgunners! Head to Steam and GOG to wishlist Showgunners before it arrives on May 2nd.
You can find all the links to these titles in the description below, so make sure you like, subscribe, sell your first kidney and your grandma's social security number in the comments, because that's going to do it for part 1 of this list, guys, and stay on the lookout for part 2 where we reveal the top 15 games, because it's going to be one to watch for sure. Lastly, we are excited to continue making content for you, so please let your friends know by spamming your favorite gaming group chat with the link to this one. Till next time on Get This.